You can change your entire life starting today. Not when you become richer, not when you have more time, but the moment you decide you will no longer live small. There's a harsh truth. Most people don't fail overnight. They quietly lose their future through procrastination, comfort, and the repeated habits they live every single day. Then one day they wake up and realize they spent too long living a life they never truly wanted. But you are different, because just one right decision, one right principle, one right moment of awakening can change everything. Today, I'm going to share with you some of the most powerful success principles, the things that can help you become the person you were meant to be a long time ago. And stay until the end of the video, because there is one final principle that could completely change the way you see your life from this day forward. Principle 1. Your life changes the day your why becomes strong enough. I want to start with one very simple question. Why do you want to change your life? Not what you wish, not what you wrote down at the beginning of the year and forgot a few weeks later, but the real reason. Why do you want success? Why do you want to become wealthier? Why do you want to become stronger? Why do you want to escape your current life? Because I learned something very early on. When your why is strong enough, the how becomes simple. A lot of people say they want to change, but they don't truly have a reason big enough to change. They want success, but they haven't suffered enough from their current life. They want discipline, but they are still too comfortable with procrastination. They want a better life, but they are not truly disgusted enough by the fact that they are wasting their potential. And that's why they stay stuck. I've met many people who work incredibly hard. They stay up late. They wake up early. They stay busy all day. But deep inside, they don't know where they're going. And that is one of the most dangerous feelings in life. Moving constantly, but not moving in any direction at all. Today, this is even more common. People are constantly distracted. Social media pulls your attention away every minute. You open your phone for just a few minutes, then lose an entire hour. You live in a world where everything is trying to take your attention. And if you don't have a strong enough why, life will pull you in the direction of other people. That's why I always say, a life without a clear purpose will always be controlled by circumstances. Imagine a ship in the middle of the ocean with no destination. It still moves. It still burns fuel. It still drifts day after day. But in the end, it never arrives anywhere. A lot of people are living exactly like that. They wake up every morning just to repeat yesterday. No clear goals, no long-term vision, nothing that truly sets their heart on fire. And then time quietly steals their life away. I want you to understand this. Motivation doesn't last. Inspiration doesn't last either. But a reason big enough can carry you through your hardest days. When you truly have a powerful reason, you will read more. You will learn more. You will work harder. You will persist longer. You will endure things that make other people quit. Because at that point, you are no longer acting because you feel like it. You act because you know you must change. I remember people saying to me, "Jim, I don't have motivation." No. The problem is not that you lack motivation. The problem is that you haven't found a strong enough reason. A father can work 2 jobs every day for his family. A mother can sacrifice for years for her children. Someone who starts from zero can still rise again after failure. Why? Because their why is bigger than their exhaustion. That is the power of purpose. When you have a purpose clear enough, it will pull you forward even when you don't want to continue. And I want you to remember this. Life does not change when you learn a few motivational quotes. Life changes when you decide, I cannot continue living like this anymore. That is the moment everything begins. Maybe today you don't have money. Maybe you don't have the skills. Maybe you don't have confidence. But if you have a strong enough reason, you can build everything else. Because human beings can endure extraordinary things when they know what they are fighting for. So today, I want you to sit down and ask yourself one serious question. Why do I need to change? Not the answer that sounds good. Not the answer meant to impress other people. But the real answer that makes you wake up every morning feeling, my life has to become better than this. And when you find that reason, don't let it die. Feed it every day. Protect it from procrastination. Let it become the fire that pulls you away from the old weak version of yourself. Because the day you truly find your life's why is also the day your life begins to change. And the interesting thing is, when a person finally finds a real purpose, they also begin to see life through different eyes. They no longer ask, what if I fail? They begin asking a far more powerful question. Why not me? Principle 2, why not you? I want you to think deeply about this. Why do you believe success is meant for other people? Why do you believe some people are born to do great things while you are not? Who told you that? Life? Past failures? Or the negative voice inside your head every single day? Because I realized that most people do not live up to their true potential, not because they lack talent, but because they have become used to doubting themselves. They see other people building businesses and think, I could never do that. They see other people speaking confidently and think, I don't have that quality. They look at successful people on stage and forget that those people were once afraid, awkward, and full of failures too. You need to understand this. No one is born strong. No one is born disciplined. No one is born confident. People become that way through the process of developing themselves. But most people never give themselves the opportunity to grow. They quit too early. They try once and stop. They fail once and decide they are not meant for it. They get rejected a few times and begin shrinking their lives. And the most painful part is, many people spend their entire lives protecting the weak version of themselves. They protect procrastination. They protect their comfort zone. They protect excuses. They protect fear. While deep inside, they know they are capable of becoming so much more. I once said something that many people never forget. If you think trying is risky, wait until you get the bill for not trying. If you think trying is risky, wait until the day you pay the price for never trying at all. That is the most expensive price of all. One day you wake up and realize you lived too long in fear. You look back at your youth. Look back at the opportunities you missed. Look back at the person you could have become. And at that moment, what hurts the most is not failure. It is regret. I want to tell you something interesting. When I was younger, I used to think life would become safer if I avoided risks. But then I discovered a truth. Everything in life carries risk. Marriage is risky. Business is risky. Investing is risky. Change is risky. Even living an ordinary life is full of risk. You can spend 20 years in a job you hate, only to realize you never truly lived. That is also a risk. So the question is not, how do I avoid risk? The question is, which risks are worth taking? Because if you want a better life, you will have to walk through uncertainty. You will have to do things that scare you. You will have to walk into rooms where you feel like you are not good enough. That is how human beings grow. No one becomes strong by staying comfortable forever. Look at a seed. If it wants to become a tree, it must break through its old shell. And that process is not comfortable at all. Human beings are the same. Your new version will always make your old version uncomfortable. That is why self-discipline feels painful at first. You must let go of the habits that are destroying you. You must learn how to say no. You must work even when you don't feel inspired. But one day, you begin to see the change. You wake up with more energy. You think more clearly. You become more confident. You begin respecting yourself more. And all of it begins the moment you stop asking, what if I fail? And start asking, why not me? Why not you? Why can other people change their lives but not you? Why can other people build success while you remain stuck forever? Why can other people become strong while you continue doubting yourself? I want you to remember this. Life does not reward the smartest people. It rewards the people who are willing to keep moving forward. Many talented people fail because they never take action, while many ordinary people build extraordinary lives simply because they refuse to quit. So from this day forward, stop living as if you were born to stay small. You are more capable than you think, stronger than you realize, full of more potential than you are currently using, but none of it matters if you continue waiting for the perfect moment, because the perfect moment does not exist. The only thing that exists is your decision right now. And when a person begins believing they can change their life, they also begin seeing success in a completely different way. They stop chasing money first. They begin focusing on something far more important, becoming a better human being. Principle 3, the greatest value is not what you get, it's what you become. When I was younger, I thought success was about what you owned. Money, nice cars, big houses, bank accounts, recognition from other people. I thought if I had enough of those things, I would finally be happy. But then life taught me a far more important lesson. The greatest value in life is not what you get. It is who you become in the process of achieving it. That completely changed the way I saw success. Because you can earn money and lose it. You can gain status and lose it. You can build a business and watch it fail. But the one thing nobody can ever take away from you is the person you became, the discipline you built, the mindset you developed, the strength you trained yourself to have, the skills you accumulated, the growth you earned through years of hardship. Those are the real assets. A lot of people today want results immediately. They want success after a few months. They want to get rich quickly. They want to change their lives instantly. Social media makes people believe success should happen fast. You see someone become famous after one video. A startup explodes after just a few months. Someone making money effortlessly. But what you don't see are the years they spent quietly building themselves beforehand. Nobody sees the mornings they forced themselves to wake up. Nobody sees the failures. Nobody sees the days they doubted themselves. People only see the final result. And that is why so many people compare their lives to someone else's success while they are not willing to go through the process that person went through. I want you to understand this. Success is not something you pursue. Success is something you attract by the person you become. If you become more valuable, life will reward you more. That is how the marketplace works. That is how life works. You are rewarded based on the value you bring, not based on desire, not based on excuses, not based on the fact that you tried, but based on the real value you create. So instead of constantly asking, how can I make more money? Start asking, how can I become a more valuable person? That is the question that changed my life. Because when you grow yourself, everything else begins changing too. The way you communicate changes. The way you think changes. The way you solve problems changes. The way you handle pressure changes too. And then opportunities begin appearing. I've met people who spend all day complaining about the economy being difficult, bad jobs, other people being luckier, life being unfair, yet they cannot spend even 30 minutes a day developing themselves. That is the greatest contradiction. They want a better life, but they do not want to become a better version of themselves. You cannot have a high-level life with a low-level mindset. That is impossible. If you want more, you must become more. I remember one time my mentor said, Jim, set a goal to become a millionaire. I thought he was talking about money, but then he continued, not because of the money, but because of the person you must become to achieve it. That was one of the most powerful lessons of my life. Goals do not exist only so you can achieve something. Goals exist to transform you. Discipline transforms you. Hardship transforms you. Persistence transforms you. Even failure transforms you if you learn from it. So don't just ask, what will I get? Ask, who will I become after this journey? Because sometimes the greatest thing is not the destination. It is the new version of yourself you discover inside. A version that is stronger, calmer, more confident, more disciplined. A version that no longer quits easily. And remember this, true happiness does not come from having more. It comes from the feeling that you are growing. Human beings feel most alive when they know they are moving forward. That is why someone can be very rich and still feel empty, while another person who is building their future feels full of hope. Because the human soul needs growth. It needs purpose. It needs challenges. It needs the feeling that it is becoming a better version of itself every day. And that is why I always say, invest in yourself first. Read more, learn more, train more, become more disciplined. Observe people who are more successful than you. Improve your mindset every single day. Because when you begin changing on the inside, your outer life also begins changing. And that is when you realize one extremely important truth. If you want a different life, you must become a different person. Principle 4, work harder on yourself than you do on your job. There was a time in my life when I believed working hard was enough. I worked a lot. I arrived early. I left late. I tried harder than most people around me. If you had met me back then, you would have said, Jim is a hard worker. But there was one problem. I worked hard, yet my life did not change very much. I was still short on money, still stressed, still living below my true potential. And then my mentor told me something, one sentence that changed my entire life. Jim, learn to work harder on yourself than you do on your job. When I truly understood that sentence, everything began to change. Because if you work hard at your job, you can make a living. But if you work hard on yourself, you can create an extraordinary life. That is something many people were never taught. They spend decades building their careers, but never building themselves. They grow companies, but never grow their mindset. They upgrade skills for their profession, but never upgrade their thinking for life. And then they ask themselves, why am I still stuck? Because your income rarely exceeds your level of personal development for long. You may earn money through luck, but to keep success, you must become the kind of person who deserves it. That is why personal development matters so much. I want you to think about this. Every day, how much time do you spend developing yourself? Not scrolling through your phone, Not watching other people live their lives, but learning new skills, improving communication, reading books, developing self-discipline, strengthening your mindset, because if you do not intentionally develop yourself, life will keep you exactly where you are. Today, that is even more dangerous. The world is changing too quickly. AI is changing jobs. Technology is changing the way people live. Everything moves faster every year. But many people are still living with the same mindset they had 10 years ago. That is why they feel left behind. You cannot build a new future with an old version of yourself. If you want your life to change, you must upgrade the person inside first. I've met people who constantly say, "I don't have time," but they have hours every day for social media, for meaningless videos, for conversations that add no value. The truth is, we always have time for what we prioritize. And if you do not prioritize your personal growth, do not be surprised when your life stays the same. One of the most powerful habits I ever learned was reading every day. Not 5 hours, not all night long, just 30 minutes a day. 30 minutes a day can completely change the direction of your life. One right book can save you 5 years of mistakes. One right idea can permanently change the way you make money. One right perspective can save you from years of living without direction. But the problem is, most people want results without wanting to learn. They want confidence, but they do not develop skills. They want success, but they do not develop their thinking. They want a bigger life while still keeping small habits. That cannot happen. You cannot become a stronger version of yourself if every day you continue feeding the old weak version. Self-discipline is not punishing yourself. It is the act of respecting your own future. Every time you read instead of wasting time, you are building your future. Every time you learn another skill, you are building your future. Every time you keep a promise to yourself, you are building self-respect. That is how people become strong. Not overnight, but day by day, book by book, habit by habit, decision by decision. Most people overestimate what they can do in one day and underestimate what they can change in 5 years. Because massive change always begins with very small actions. Reading 10 pages a day, working out for 20 minutes a day, waking up a little earlier each day, procrastinating a little less than yesterday. That is how a new life is built. I want you to remember this. Your job may create income, but your personal growth creates your future. So do not work only to make a living. Work to become a better human being. Become sharper, more disciplined, wiser, calmer, more valuable. Because when you begin changing yourself, everything around you begins changing too. And then you realize real motivation does not come from forcing yourself to work. It comes from having a future big enough to pull you forward. Principle 5, dreams pull you into the future. I've met many people who work hard but have no future. Sounds strange, doesn't it? They wake up every morning, go to work, pay bills, repeat life every day. From the outside, everything looks fine. But deep inside, they no longer feel excited about life. No big goals. Nothing that sets their heart on fire. No feeling that they are moving towards something better. And that is when life begins to feel heavy. Because human beings do not only need to survive, human beings need something to move toward. You need a future big enough to pull you through difficult days. I have always believed one of the greatest powers human beings possess is the ability to imagine a better life. That is called a dream. Dreams are not for children. Dreams are fuel for the soul. A person who loses their dreams will eventually lose their energy for life. Look at people who are truly living with passion. They are not always rich, not always successful, but they have direction. They have something ahead of them. They have something that keeps them moving forward. While many other people live as if life ended long ago, even though they are only 25 or 30 years old, they stop dreaming, stop trying, stop believing life can become better. And then they begin living in survival mode. That is the most dangerous thing of all. Because when a person stops dreaming, they also begin accepting a smaller version of themselves. Today, this is happening everywhere. People are trapped in constant busyness, notifications, emails, deadlines, social media. You can spend an entire day reacting to life without ever truly building your life. That is why so many people feel empty. Not because they are too busy, but because they are busy with things that are disconnected from their soul. I want to ask you one question. When was the last time you truly sat still and thought about your life, not thinking about bills, not thinking about tomorrow's work, but thinking about who you want to become, how you want to live, what you want to build, what meaning you want your life to have. Because if you do not create a future for yourself, life will create a default future for you. And most people wake up too late to realize that. I remember once hearing a very powerful quote. Without dreams, we all die. Without dreams, people slowly die inside. Their bodies may still exist, but their spirit is no longer alive. I do not want that to happen to you. I do not want you to live only waiting for the weekend, only waiting for payday, only waiting for things to become less exhausting. Life must be bigger than that. You were born to grow, to discover your potential, to become the strongest version of yourself. But that requires you to keep your ability to dream. Do not let the world make you so practical that you forget hope, because everything great that has ever existed began with imagination. A business, a book, an invention, an extraordinary life. All of it started with someone willing to see beyond their current circumstances. Maybe today you are not where you want to be. That is okay. What matters is, do you still see a future worth walking toward? That is what keeps people strong through difficult times. When you have purpose, pain becomes easier to endure. When you have vision, you become stronger under pressure. When you have a dream, you do not quit easily. I have seen people survive incredibly difficult seasons, simply because they had a reason to continue. A clear future has tremendous pulling power. It pulls you out of bed in the morning, pulls you through failure, pulls you forward even when everything is against you. But the problem is, most people never spend time creating a vision for their life. They only react to the present. They live according to circumstances, according to emotions, according to convenience, and then the years pass very quickly. So today, I want you to allow yourself to dream big again. Not fantasy and illusion, but a vision that genuinely makes you want to grow, a life that makes you want to become more disciplined, want to learn more, want to change more. Imagine the strongest version of yourself. How do you speak? How do you think? What do you spend your time on? What standards do you live by? Because the future you see every day slowly becomes the person you turn into. And the beautiful thing is, when someone begins to have a real dream, they also begin understanding something extremely important. No extraordinary life is built without persistence. Principle 6, never give up until you win. I once asked a group of students a very simple question. How long should a baby keep trying to learn how to walk? The entire class laughed, because everyone knew the answer. A baby keeps getting back up until it can walk. No one looks at a child falling down and says, maybe walking just isn't for them. No one says, forget it, maybe they just don't have talent. The child keeps trying, falls down, gets back up, falls again, gets back up again, until one day they walk. And I thought, it's strange how human beings live that way as children, but quit so quickly as adults. We try once and stop, fail a few times and conclude we are not meant for it, get rejected a few times and shrink our dreams. When the truth is, every skill takes time to develop. Self-discipline takes time. Confidence takes time. Success takes time. No one builds an extraordinary life in just a few weeks. But the problem is, the modern world has made people impatient. Everything is too fast. Short videos, fast dopamine, fast results, short attention spans. People begin expecting life to work the same way. They want to change themselves quickly, get rich quickly, become successful quickly, heal quickly. And when things do not happen fast enough, they quit. That is why many people do not fail, because they lack ability. They fail because they stop too soon. I want you to remember one very important word. Until. Read until your mindset changes. Train until you become stronger. Work until your skills become sharper. Keep moving until your life changes, not for a few days, not for a few weeks, but until. That is the mindset that creates extraordinary people. I have seen incredibly successful people, not because they were the smartest, but because they stayed longer than everyone else. When others quit, they kept going. When others lost faith, they kept going. When others became distracted, they kept going. That is the true power of persistence. Do you know what makes most people quit? Not difficulty, but the feeling, maybe all this effort isn't making a difference. Because growth usually happens in silence. A person going to the gym does not see their body change after 3 days. A person reading books does not become wise after 1 week. A person building a business does not see results immediately. But that does not mean the process is not working. A seed also grows in darkness before it breaks through the ground. Human beings are the same. Many major changes are happening inside you, even when you cannot yet see the results on the outside. Every time you keep a promise to yourself, you are building self-respect. Every time you continue despite exhaustion, you are building mental strength. Every time you refuse to quit, you are becoming the type of person capable of winning. That is what matters most. Because eventually, life rewards the person who can keep moving forward. I want to tell you something few people accept. There will be days when you have no motivation, days when you doubt yourself, days when you feel exhausted, days when you feel like you are making no progress at all. That is part of the journey. Successful people are not always inspired. They simply refuse to let emotions determine their future. That is the difference. Amateurs wait for motivation. Professionals keep moving. Average people act when they feel like it. Strong people act because they know it is necessary. And that is when self-discipline begins changing your life. Because when you learn how to continue even through difficult days, you become dangerous in the most positive way. You are no longer dependent on your mood, no longer dependent on inspiration, no longer living according to temporary emotions. You begin becoming stable. And consistency is always more powerful than intensity. Not going extremely hard for one day and disappearing afterward, but moving forward a little every day. That is how great lives are built. One small step, one small day, one small choice at a time. So if today you feel like you are moving too slowly, do not stop. If today you still cannot see results, do not stop. If today your life still does not look the way you hoped, do not stop. Keep going. Keep learning. Keep growing. Keep building yourself. Keep honoring the promises you made to your future. Because one day, you will look back at this period and realize, the thing that changed your life was not one explosive moment. It was the decision not to quit. And then one day, all the frustration, procrastination, and pain inside you begin turning into an incredibly powerful emotion. Disgust. The feeling. Enough is enough. Principle 7. One day you'll say, I've had enough. There is an emotion that most people think is negative, but sometimes it becomes the very thing powerful enough to change your entire life. Disgust. Exhaustion. Frustration. Disappointment with your current life. The moment you look at your life and say, enough is enough. I'm tired of living like this. That could be the day everything begins to change. I once met a very successful woman in New York, a powerful executive, high income, confident, influential. But what surprised me was this: she had never gone to college. So I asked her, what changed your life? And she told me a story. When she was younger, she was an ordinary mother. One day, she asked her husband for $10. And her husband asked, what for? Just one small question. But before that day ended, she made a decision. She told herself, I will never live like this again. That was the day her life changed. She began learning, began developing herself, began searching for opportunities, began building a new version of herself. And many years later, she became the vice president of a major company. What's interesting is, the change did not begin with money. It began with a moment of emotional pain powerful enough. That is what I want you to understand. Many people only change when the pain of staying the same becomes greater than the pain of change. That is when people truly awaken. Maybe today you are still enduring a life that makes you unhappy, a job you hate, a body that makes you insecure, a life full of procrastination, a version of yourself that disappoints you every time you look in the mirror. And deep inside, you know you need to change, but you still procrastinate. Why? Because you are still not in enough pain. Human beings can tolerate things that make them miserable for a very long time, as long as those things remain familiar. That is what makes it frightening. Many people spend decades living in frustration, not because they cannot change, but because they have become used to tolerating living below their potential, saying, I'll do it tomorrow, quitting halfway, doubting themselves, accepting a small life, until one day they wake up and feel, I can't keep living like this anymore. That is when the turning point appears. I believe most major turning points in life begin with a very strong emotion. Some people change because of inspiration, but most change because of pain. Pain wakes people up. A smoker changes after receiving bad health results. A person becomes serious about life after losing a major opportunity. A person begins building self-discipline after years of disappointment in themselves. That is when they finally say, I've had enough. And I want to tell you this. Do not wait until life forces you to change. Do not wait for rock bottom. Do not wait until you lose all your energy. Do not wait another 10 years filled with regret. Do not wait until the day you look back and ask, what if I had started earlier? Because time is the one thing you can never get back. Every day you procrastinate, your life is quietly slipping away. And the most dangerous part is, wasted potential usually happens silently. No loud noise, no warning, just day after day passing while you remain the same person. That is why sometimes disgust is actually a gift. It destroys fake comfort. It makes you unable to tolerate your old life anymore. It forces you to face the truth. And the truth is, you were not born to live an ordinary life. You have far too much potential to keep living inside excuses. I want you to imagine this. If you truly committed to change, how different could your life become in 5 years? If you read every day, train every day, grow every day, become more disciplined every day, who would you become? That version is waiting for you ahead. But you must decide, which version will win? The version that always procrastinates? Or the version that finally stands up and says, enough is enough? Because sometimes a new life does not begin with confidence. It begins when you become too tired of betraying your own potential. And when someone truly decides to change, they begin realizing that if they want their life to go further, they must continue learning and growing without stopping. Principle 8, self-education can change your entire life. One of the biggest mistakes people make is believing that learning ends after leaving school. No, that is only the beginning. Because school may help you make a living, but self-education can change your entire life. I realized that fairly late. There was a time when I thought, if I just work hard, that will be enough. But then I started meeting people who were more successful than me, smarter than me, more confident than me, more influential than me, and I realized they were not just working differently from me. They were thinking differently from me. That was when I understood. If I wanted my life to change, I had to change the way I think. And the fastest way to do that was to learn. I started reading books. Not many at first, just a few pages a day. But then I discovered something incredible. A single book can give you decades of experience without you having to live through all the mistakes yourself. Think about that. A person spends their entire life learning a lesson, then writes it down in just a few hundred pages. And many people never read it. That is tragic, because books contain wisdom, mindset, strategy, discipline, lessons, failures you do not have to experience yourself. I once said, one right book can save you 5 years of your life, and that is completely true. There are ideas that take only 5 minutes to read but can permanently change the way you see life. Today we live in an era where knowledge is everywhere. You can learn communication, leadership, business, psychology, self-discipline, success principles with nothing more than a phone. But the paradox is, people have more access to knowledge than ever before and still live more lost than ever before. Why? Because they consume more entertainment than education. They spend hours watching other people live, but cannot spend even 30 minutes upgrading themselves. That is why many people feel stuck. They want a new life, while feeding an old mindset every day. You cannot build a powerful future with a mind full of distraction. That is why self-education matters so much. It helps you think more clearly. It helps you see opportunities other people cannot see. It helps you understand that success is not luck. Success leaves clues. Successful people have written down how they think, how they work, how they overcome difficulty. But most people never study them. They want results without wanting to study success. If you want happiness, study happiness. If you want wealth, study wealth. If you want to become stronger, study discipline. Do not let your life be determined by chance. Learn intentionally. I want you to imagine this. If you read 10 pages every day, within 1 year you will read thousands of pages. You will not be the same person anymore. Your mindset will change. The way you speak will change. Your standards for life will change. That is the power of learning. Growth usually happens quietly. You do not notice it on the first day. But then one day you look back and realize, you think more maturely, you are calmer, you understand life better, you are no longer easily dragged down by small things. That is when education begins transforming who you are. And remember this, not everyone invests in themselves. That is why self-education becomes such a massive advantage. In a world full of distraction, a person who knows how to focus on self-growth will go very far. In a world where people react emotionally, a person who thinks deeply becomes different. In a world where many people quit, a person who keeps learning continues growing. And that is why I always say, become a student of life. Do not just be a follower. Do not believe everything you hear. Do not let the crowd decide how you live. Learn, observe, think. Develop your own wisdom, because the quality of your life is determined by the quality of your mind. If you feed your mind with negativity, distraction, excuses, shallow thinking, your life will reflect that. But if you feed it with wisdom, discipline, strong ideas, personal growth, everything begins changing. That is how a person truly matures, not simply aging, but growing. And when you begin learning seriously, you also begin understanding a very powerful truth. Life does not change when circumstances change. Life changes when you change from the inside. Principle 9. Your life changes when you change. There was a time in my life when I thought the problem was everything around me. I blamed the economy, blamed my job, blamed circumstances, blamed other people. I thought, if things were better, my life would be better. But then I learned a very painful and very freeing lesson. Your life does not change when circumstances change. Your life changes when you change. That was the moment I began maturing, because many people spend their entire lives trying to change the outside world while refusing to change the world inside themselves. They want easier jobs, more money, less pressure, other people to treat them better, but they never ask, have I become the type of person capable of handling a bigger life? That is the real question. I once said, don't wish it were easier. Wish you were better. Do not wish for things to become easier. Wish for yourself to become stronger. That is the mindset that changes everything. Because the truth is, life will always be difficult. There will always be problems, always failures, always days when you feel exhausted. But strong people do not wait for life to become easier. They grow stronger themselves. Imagine two people walking into the same storm. One panics, one stays calm. The storm is the same. The difference is the person inside. That is why personal growth matters so much. It does not remove all difficulty from your life. It turns you into the kind of person who can overcome difficulty. And that is the most powerful thing of all. I want you to understand this. You cannot control everything that happens to you, but you can always control how you respond, how you think, how you grow from the experience. That is where true power exists. Many people live like victims of circumstance. They always have a reason. I wasn't born lucky. My family didn't support me. I never had opportunities. It's too late now. But I have met people who started with almost nothing and still built extraordinary lives. The difference was not circumstances. It was decision. They decided not to let the past determine the future. That is the difference. You must understand. Blaming feels comfortable. Blaming is easy. It allows you to avoid changing. Avoid responsibility. Avoid facing the truth. But it also steals your power. Because when you believe every problem exists outside of you, you also believe you are powerless. And that is the most dangerous mindset of all. The day you begin taking responsibility for your life is the day you begin taking your power back. Not responsibility in the form of self-hatred, but maturity. You look at life and say, maybe I cannot control everything that happens, but I will control the person I become. That is power. I have seen many people completely transform their lives, not because they received better opportunities, but because they changed. Philosophy, attitude, standards, daily habits, that is where transformation begins. Because your outer life always reflects your inner self. If your mindset is full of excuses, your life will reflect that. If your mind is full of negativity, everything around you will feel heavy. But when you begin changing from the inside, the outside world begins responding differently. You communicate differently. You become more confident. You act more decisively. You no longer quit easily. And then opportunities begin appearing. The interesting thing is, many people call that luck. But in reality, they are simply seeing the result of personal growth. Success is an inside job first. That is why I always say, work on your philosophy. Work on your attitude. Work on your mindset. Work on your communication. Work on your discipline. Work on your habits. Do not just try to change the results. Change the person producing those results. If you become better, your decisions become better. If your decisions become better, your life becomes better too. That is how real transformation happens. Not through overnight success, but through small inner changes that slowly create a completely new outer life. So today, do not just ask, how can my life become better? Ask, who do I need to become to deserve that life? Because that is the question that changes everything. And when a person truly begins changing from the inside, they finally realize something very important. There's no perfect time to change your life. The best time is always now. Principle 10, you can change everything starting today. I want to end with a truth you need to remember for the rest of your life. Your life can change very quickly, not in 10 years, not when everything becomes perfect, but beginning the day you make a new decision, because direction matters more than speed. If today you change direction, even just a little, your life a few years from now will become completely different. That is the power of choice. Many people think their lives are stuck. No, they are simply repeating the same old choices, the same old mindset, the same old excuses, the same old habits, and then they hope the future will somehow become different. But life does not work that way. The next 5 years will be like the last 5 years unless you change. That is something many people do not want to hear, because real change requires responsibility. You must stop blaming, stop procrastinating, stop waiting for motivation, stop living as if you have unlimited time. I want you to think about this. If you continue living exactly the way you are now, what will your life look like in 5 years? With the same habits, the same procrastination, the same level of discipline, where will you be? That question should wake you up, because time does not stop. Every day you procrastinate, life keeps moving forward. That is why someday is one of the most dangerous words. One day I'll start. One day I'll change. One day I'll become disciplined. No, one day does not exist. You only have today. That is the greatest gift you have right now. Today you can read one page. Today you can begin exercising. Today you can stop one bad habit. Today you can write down your goals. Today you can decide you will no longer live small. That is how transformation begins. Not with a perfect moment, but with a small decision taken seriously. I once said, on any given day, you can massively change the direction of your life. On any given day, you can completely change the direction of your life. That is what makes life exciting. You are not stuck forever. You can learn new skills. You can build self-discipline. You can change your mindset. You can become stronger. You can start over. As long as you are alive, your life is not over yet. But remember this, no one can motivate you forever. Self-motivation is what creates lasting change. You must learn how to pull yourself back up, how to keep promises to yourself, how to continue even when nobody is watching. That is when you begin becoming dangerous in the most positive way. Because when a person no longer depends on mood, they can go very far. I want you to imagine the best version of yourself, the version that is more disciplined, healthier, more confident, calmer, stronger, living with more purpose. That version does not appear by accident. It is built day by day, choice by choice, habit by habit. Every time you decide not to quit. And the beautiful thing is, you do not need to change everything overnight. You just need to start. Start reading, start learning, start training, start thinking bigger, start living more intentionally. That is how a new life is created. I know maybe today you are still afraid. That is okay. Courage is not the absence of fear. Courage is taking action while still being afraid. So, do not wait until you feel confident enough. Do not wait until everything becomes easier. Start with what you have, right where you are standing. Because 1 year from now, you will wish you had started today. And I want to leave you with one final thought. You and I both have one gift. Today, use it wisely. Do not let your life be stolen by procrastination, distraction, and temporary comfort. You have more potential than you think, more strength than you realize, and a much bigger future waiting ahead of you. The only question is, have you truly decided to change? If the answer is yes, then your new journey begins right now. And if this video touched you in any way, please like, subscribe, and share it with someone who needs to hear this today. I also want to hear from you. Out of all the principles today, which one is the thing you most need to change in your life? Leave a comment below. And remember, life is not measured by what we have, but by what we become. See you in the next video.